MAGA comes to talk. Welcome one and all to the stream. We'll be live in, I don't know, 10 minutes. The show will start. And, of course, we will be taking your calls. I've got a lot to cover, and there's so much news today. It's all big that I really almost don't know which story to begin with. But the one that I just put in the title of this video, I'm going to tell you what that is now, but I'm going to open with this when I start the main show at 6. All right, so this is all over the place, and it's a very strange thing. Now, over the weekend, I read a story over the weekend that Judge Janine, the great Judge Janine, turned down the job as deputy FBI director. She turned it down. And I thought that was an interesting thing, and she's got a great job now. But there's this story that, and I've got two accounts of it. So I've got so much to cover. I hate to even talk about this, but I've been trying to figure this out all morning. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Welcome. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Okay, hold on. There's a couple of... Okay. Okay, there's a story. I tweeted both of these stories. One is in the Gateway Pundit, and the other one's at Trending Politics, but they're both on my X, Brian Craig Show. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has been appointed co-deputy director of the FBI. And Dan Bongino's got a post on X celebrating it and all. But listen, this isn't the giveaway. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel tapped Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey to serve as co-deputy director of the FBI. Is that a normal thing? I've not heard of that before, but and I'm wondering, see, I just looked this up online. I just searched, does the FBI usually have co-deputy, co-deputy directors? And this is what the answer was. The FBI has one deputy director, not multiple. The deputy director is the Bureau's second in command, right under the FBI director, and is responsible for the overall day-to-day operations. The FBI has multiple executive assistant directors which serve under the deputy director. So is Dan Bongino out? A lot of great things have been going on, right? But we haven't gotten any arrest yet. And I'm going to lead with this story, even though there's so much more to cover, because it's just, I want to hear what the audience thinks. I've never heard of a co-deputy director of the FBI before, and it sounds like Bongino's getting pushed out. I've been talking in the last couple of months, is Dan Bongino a poser? Has he hyped up his law enforcement career and resume to a level that he's really not at? This seems very strange to me. So I'm going to open with that story. However, there's so much to cover, including this great summit that the president had at the White House yesterday. If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. I was going to lead with something else, but this is just, this thing about the new deputy director is just, there we go. All right, just turn the phones on. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. We'll be live on the air in about 6-7 minutes. But English, please, to our Russian friend there, please, English, if you don't mind. Yeah, well, any state that has a Democrat governor's in bad shape, right? Good morning, yes. MAGA Tuesday. But I've got a ton of stories to cover. I mean, a ton of stories. But this is not the most important one, but it's just gnawing at me. It's just like, one of those things. I'll take a quick call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yep, you're up. What's your name?
Hey, Ron. I was hear you talking about Dan Bongino.
Yeah, well,
I haven't heard much about him lately.
This announcement.
He kind of went into the shadows a little bit, huh?
Yeah, and I'm thinking he's being pushed out. I've never heard of a co-deputy director of the FBI.
Well, I don't know. I heard something about him and his wife going through a little something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, he may be being pushed out, or he may be wanting to leave. He may not want to have anything to do with it. What he sees, I don't know. I don't know what he's going through.
Yeah.
But it's weird that we haven't heard much about him lately.
Yeah, where are you calling from? Where are you located?
I'm Dustin. I'm Dustin from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Louisiana.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so they appointed a co-deputy director. That is very unusual. I stand by. I think it's very likely that Bongino has puffed up his resume, and he's not Mr. Super Cop like Tom Homan that he's presented himself as, and I don't think he knows how to do the job, or he'd go out and make an arrest.
That might be the case, or he might have seen something he don't want to see, and he might just want to just go all the way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Well, we'll find out.
It's an interesting subject, though.
It is.
I like Dan, man. Dan's awesome.
Yeah, everybody likes Bongino, but something's weird here.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right, take care. All right. Yeah, the show's starting in about 4 minutes. It's kind of a little pre-show here. Now, those of you that are new, if you're watching on the green with the green behind me, to get the full effects of the green screen, see the video, hear the audio, and see the articles that I go over, I'll start my other stream as we go live for the main show. And if you go over to my other stream when I start it, you can see all of the video that I play, hear the audio, see the articles I go over, and all that. On this stream with the green screen, where you see the green behind me, you'll obviously see and hear me, and you'll hear the callers, as you heard. Yeah, I do 2 streams. The other stream, which I have not started, I start the other stream right as I'm going live on the air. So today, we're going live at 4 minutes and 10 seconds after the top of the hour. So, yeah. So, right as we're going live, I start the other stream. That's the main stream, and that has all the green screen effects. It's right here on the channel. This stream with the green, where you see the green behind me, it is for the vertical live stream, which is in the YouTube short. If you watch YouTube Shorts, there's a place where you can click live, and there's a YouTube Shorts live feed. That's where this is. For those that are subscribed to my channel and don't usually go there, that's where this is. A lot of strange people there. Kind of the YouTube live, vertical live stream and the Shorts feed kind of reminds me of the old days of Periscope. There's some strange things there that you don't want to see. But I am going to open with the Dan Bongino story because it's just so weird. I wasn't going to. It was one of the first stories I saw this morning because the first thing I read today when I started doing my show prep was the Gateway Pundit, and they have a big story on it. But there's so many other things, but I gotta start with this. Yeah, we've got 2.5 minutes, and we'll be live, and I'll start the other stream as that happens. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is where MAGA comes to talk, no doubt. Yeah, this green screen is actually pretty big. It's on the ground, and it's like an old projector screen that you lift up from the ground. So when I I'm not doing a show, I put it away, lean it up against the wall. But it's like 6 feet long. It goes almost up to, touches the ceiling almost. About 90 seconds we'll be live. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. All right. Okay, less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute. Yeah, sometimes, you know, something. Yeah, I go through and I go through the stories, and then something. I'm just can't. I gotta go through this Bongino story. It's just too weird. I'll be starting the other stream in 30 seconds. So that's where you want to hop over to see the articles, see the video, hear the audio. Here you'll see and hear me and the callers. And if you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. All right, stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Okay, there is so much news to cover, guys. I mean, a ton. And it's almost all incredibly good news, including some hot mic moments that I picked up from the incredible historic summit at the White House today, where President Trump held court with all of these European leaders. It was absolutely amazing. I'll play for you, coming up in just a bit, the hot mic moments. But there was a story, in fact, it was one of the first stories I saw this morning. When I got up and started my show prep, the first website, the first news website I go to every morning is the Gateway Pundit. I know, it's my favorite news sites where I go first thing, first site every day. And they had a story there, and it was one of the first stories I saw this morning when I started my show prep, and it's a weird story. But, you know, there's so many other things, and I thought, well, maybe I'll get to it. Maybe on the show today. Maybe. But then the more I was thinking about it, the story's really bugging me, and I'm going to bring this up here in the beginning. And this is very strange, and I will get into all the events of yesterday, including sharing with you the hot mic moments. But here's this story. Over the weekend, I read a story that Judge Jogn turned down the job as deputy director of the FBI. Yeah, she turned it down. She's got a better job, doesn't she? Absolutely. But she turned it down. And that means that Dan Bongino was not the president's first choice. He may have been the second choice. We don't know. But we know Judge Jogn turned it down according to reports over the weekend. And there's been a lot of movement in the lawfare. No doubt about that. However, we haven't seen any arrests yet. And here's the story that I saw. The story I saw this morning was not Judge Jogn turning down the FBI deputy directorship. I saw that over the weekend. But this story, which I've seen in a few news outlets today, and Dan Bongino has even commented on this story, I just can't get this off my mind. And I want to share the story with you before I get into the other stories and get your thoughts on this. Here's the headline. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey appointed as co-deputy director of the FBI. Here's the Gateway Pundit. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel tapped Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey to serve as co-deputy director of the FBI. It was announced by the FBI, and Dan Bongino shared the tweet about it and said, "Welcome," with 3 American flag emojis. And when I saw this, I thought, that sounds weird. Now, before Dan Bongino, I have not followed any deputy directors of the FBI and how that works. Nobody does. We follow the directors, but before Bongino, did any of you follow who the deputy directors were and all of this and how many? And I looked this up online. It was just a quick Google search. It took, all of 3 seconds, so I've not done a deep amount of research on this. But I looked up online, does the FBI have co-deputy directors? And what I found online in my 3 seconds of searching, and it took 3 seconds because that's how long it took me to type it out with my thumbs, and the answer is no, that the FBI typically has one deputy director of the FBI. So this co-deputy director is a strange thing. So what's going on here? Is Dan Bongino not capable? Has one of the things I talked about with the inaction a couple of months back is he a poser? Has he hyped up, puffed up his resume, and he's not the super cop that he's presented on his podcast over the years? I would expect him, I expected him to be like Tom Homan. I knew Kash Patel was the director. He'd be busy in Washington and all of that. But when Dan Bongino's name was first dropped as being tapped to be the deputy director by the president, I thought, well, he's going to be like a Tom Homan guy. And we've seen some very embarrassing displays of Dan Bongino on the news. And Fox News is reporting this. This is Fox News. Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel are bringing on Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey as an additional deputy director of the Bureau, Fox News Digital has learned. Bailey will serve as co-deputy director alongside Deputy Director Dan Bongino. Pam Bondi said to Fox, "I am thrilled to welcome Andrew Bailey as co-deputy director of the FBI. He has served as a distinguished state attorney general and as a decorated war veteran, bringing expertise and dedication to service. His leadership and commitment to country will be a tremendous asset as we work together to advance President Trump's mission." That's right out of corporate, PR. Bailey is now this is the Gateway Pundit says Bailey is a staunch Trump supporter. He fought against crooked prosecutors that were targeting Trump with lawfare. Recall last year, Andrew Bailey filed a lawsuit against the state of New York, accusing it of an unconstitutional attack on the democratic process through its legal actions against President Trump. And that, of course, would be, all those court cases in New York, the civil and the criminal cases of the lawfare. So this is interesting to me, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Is this guy the real deputy director? Is Dan Bongino incapable of doing the job and going out and arresting people? We know the grand juries are about to come back with indictments. Who the indictments are of exactly, we don't know. There's a lot of speculation that Brennan and others, Schiff, by the way, he acted last week at that weirdo event with Gavin Newsom that turned into an ICE raid in California. But this guy sounds like the real deal, for sure. So why have they brought in a co-deputy director? Is Dan Bongino a figurehead now? What do you guys think? Our number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631. Now, with all that being said, I am going to go over all the events of yesterday, including, I'm going to share with you in a little bit, the hot mic moments from the White House yesterday, which were very good, and we've got so much news to cover. So I don't want the whole show to be about this, but I do want to hear your thoughts. Isn't this weird? And why is this going on? If you remember a few weeks back, Dan Bongino was threatening to quit. We saw him have a meltdown on Fox and Friends about marital problems. So I don't know. It's all speculation. But what's not speculation is this co-deputy director is weird and very unusual. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? We're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your opportunity. The rest of you on hold, you hang in there. We will take some calls after the break. And I am going to get into the news stories when we get back from the break. But this needs to be discussed as well. Something's weird here. And I tend to believe that he's a poser, Dan Bongino. He's not the federal agent he hyped himself up to be. And they're bringing in like a real cop that knows how to do it, is what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I want to be wrong. I like Bongino. But I want to see some arrest, and we've not seen any arrest. I want somebody to go out there and put handcuffs on these lunatics like Comey and all the rest, don't you? All right, now I do want to remind you guys of this, that it is still $100 on orders of $100 or more at mypillow.com. It is free shipping, and there's a lot of great specials going on. You know, you can get the MyPillow My Coffee for 50% off. The MyPillow My Cross, the cross that Mike Lindell himself wears, you can get that for 50% off. And there's incredible deals, including the towels that are back in stock. The Giza Dream Sheets, just $69.98. I have the, the Giza Dream Sheets are amazing. You know, they're made of 100% Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world. And Mike Lindell, he says, there's a lot of companies out there that sell Giza cotton sheets, but they're only 10% Giza cotton. The MyPillow Giza sheets are 100% Giza cotton. And whatever it is about that Giza cotton, I don't quite understand, but I'm not Mike Lindell. He does. Whatever the temperature is, you're like Goldilocks in these things. In the summer, where it's like 100 degrees, it's hot and everything else, you get in bed with these Giza Dream Sheets, and it's like you've got air conditioning. You're cool and comfortable. During the cold winter months, you get in the Giza Dream Sheets, you're warm and toasty. I don't know what it is, but your body is the perfect temperature every night, no matter what time of year it is. And they're regularly $109.98. Now just $69.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. There's some new colors and patterns available. And remember, it's free shipping on all orders that equal $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com. Callers on hold, you stand by. We're going to take our first break of this MAGA Tuesday morning. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. Absolutely, guys. Yeah, something is off with that. There's no doubt about it. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. All right, I'm going to go to the phones. Now, again, I'm not going to spend the whole show talking about this Bongino story because there's a lot to cover. But I am going to talk about it early on because I think it's an important story. If you're just tuning in, we've gotten two things that came out about the FBI in the last couple of days. Over the weekend, a story came out that Judge Janine turned down the job as deputy FBI director. So Bongino was not the first choice. He may have been the second choice, but he wasn't the first. But this morning, the news story is this: is that that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have brought in a co-deputy director, who is the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, strong MAGA guy who's taken on New York in their lawfare against the president. And I've never followed the co-deputy directors of the FBI. Who has, right? Other than FBI people. But I did a quick search online, and all the research results say that the FBI only has one deputy director. So this is very unusual. What's going on here? Let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. How you doing today?
All right, Richie.
You know, I'm going to make a comment on this. You wanted
Yeah.
opinions, okay, with Dan Bongino?
Yeah.
Personally, I think you're looking into this a little wrong here. Let me ask you a question real quick. Was Tom Homan, you keep on comparing him. You keep on saying, I thought he'd go out there like Tom Homan.
Well, Tom Homan actually, hold on, I got my lines mixed up. Oh, wait, is this Richie? No, okay, hold on. All right. Are you back, Richie? No? Okay, I lost Richie there. Richie, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. Go ahead. It's early.
It's okay. Tom Homan was put in there before Kristi Noem was put in there.
He was offered to be the Homeland Security Secretary and turned it down. Yes.
Well, no, but not that. But he was also the border czar. Okay, so he was put in there the border czar.
Correct.
And I believe Kamala Harris was the first border czar, basically, that was named by the press.
I don't know.
The point I'm bringing up is this. Listen, the chief cop of the United States is Pam Bondi, but yet she doesn't go out into the raids. Kristi Noem, she's very unusual that she's gone out into some raids. That's not normal for Homeland Security to go.
Yeah.
In other words, what I'm trying to say to you is these are pencil pushers. You never seen a director like Kash Patel go out there and start arresting people either. They're basically
Richie. We understand. Hold on. Listen. Let's get back on track here. And if you're on hold, stand by. This co-deputy director. So again, I've never followed the deputy directors. No one has before Bongino, right? But I just did a quick Google search. So this isn't some definitive thing that I'm coming up with. It's just a quick Google search. Because what else am I supposed to do? So, and what I searched is, does the FBI have more than one deputy director? And this is what came up. The FBI has one deputy director, not multiple. The deputy director is the Bureau's second in command right under the director and is responsible for the overall day-to-day operations. However, the FBI has multiple executive assistant directors. Those are the ones that serve directly under the deputy. And then they also have associate deputy directors. Okay? But this title is a co-deputy director, which means they have this equal power that it doesn't look like anyone's had, at least not in a long time. It's unusual, Richie. So what's up with that?
Okay, it's unusual, but this administration's unusual. How many times have you seen the FBI going into all these investigations in such a short period of time at one time? I mean, they might all be overwhelmed.
No, what I've seen Trump do is give people multiple jobs. Like the Treasury is it the Treasury Secretary also the IRS administrator now? And then Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio was heading up USAID, and then there was another thing he was heading up. I forgot offhand. But this is different. This to me is taking responsibility away from Pam Bongino.
I don't know about that because here we go. I mean, President Trump. you know, there are political favors out there. I don't have to tell you that. Maybe they've wanted to put this guy in for a long time, and they create a position. President Trump is like that. He creates people.
Or Bongino has padded his resume and experience a little bit.
Oh, I doubt that, man. I mean, to me, he's the most trusted guy.
Go and look up his bio, and look up how many arrests he's made as a federal agent. He worked on.
But he's not in the field to arrest people. He's not out there like.
The borders are like the drug. No, hold on a second. The borders are like the drug czar and all that stuff. They're just office kind of people, right? Press conference kind of people. Tom Homan there's been all kinds of czars. Obama had like 10 czars. I remember very well. He had like 10. Okay. But they didn't. But Tom Homan is the first one out in the field doing it.
Because he wanted to.
And he knows how.
It's obvious. It's work. Yeah, it's obvious as hell. He's got everyone afraid of him. I mean, not for nothing.
All right.
But I don't think there's anything in this.
No, this is weird. This is weird. All right, appreciate the call, Richie. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on
I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Fort Lauderdale, what's up?
So I hear you talking about my man Bongino, calling him incapable. You know, I don't believe for 1 minute he would pad his resume. He has addressed the Congress after Trump got.
Did you hear the story that I'm talking about?
I heard you.
Okay, yeah. So you know, forgetting about your personal I like Bongino. Okay, I have no gripes with Bongino, but having a co-deputy director is unusual. They don't have co-deputy. This is a new position that Pam Bondi has created for this guy. What's that about? Why do that? Did I lose you?
Hello?
Oh no, I keep getting my lines mixed up today, guys. My apologies. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Still Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, hey, Fort Lauderdale. Okay, sorry, I got the lines mixed up when I was answering the lines. My apologies. Okay. So no, this is a new position that Pam Bondi created, co-deputy director, that didn't exist before. Why would she do this?
Maybe they need a lot of help there. I don't think Dan Bongino is going to go and arrest Comey without first going through Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. So it's not like everybody wants arrest. Once again, they're not going to arrest anybody until they know, especially those high-ranking people.
Yeah, we know all that, but why create this new co-deputy director position?
Maybe because he brings more to the table. Maybe he brings more to the table, and why can't there be two positions? Because this
has never happened. They only have one deputy director.
Just because it never happened doesn't mean it can happen, right?
Well, obviously, because it has happened. The question is why?
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
You don't think Dan Bongino's a little embarrassed by this?
Dan Bongino, I don't think you really listened to him enough to know him.
I know him.
Yeah, I don't think he's embarrassed. I don't think he's embarrassed one bit.
Okay.
He probably needs the help. There's tons of things, as you know, going on.
That's what the assistant directors are about. They have these assistants that work under the deputy. No, something's up with this.
Well, all right. Well, I think that it's.
I know you got a thing for Bongino. I like Bongino, but everyone who's MAGA likes Bongino. But come on. Okay. But we don't want to be like Democrats. There's obviously something strange about this. Why avoid it? We should talk about it.
I don't think it's strange. I don't think it's strange. There's a lot of things that are going on, and maybe this guy brings his expertise.
Let me ask you this: do you think, as a woman, do you think Dan Bongino is hot?
He's not my type. He's not my type. And again, you want to bring in that kind of.
Well, no, you got a thing for Bongino. That's all I can tell.
You know why? Because he's smart, and I listen to him, and I like the way.
I like him too.
I don't care what he looks like. I don't care about that at all.
Okay.
Doesn't.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So you have to make everything about sex.
No.
As you always do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Really, I make everything about sex. Everything I talk about, I make about sex.
Well, I think
You don't think
I
that's an
it's really-
exaggeration, Joellen? All right,
I think
Joellen.
it's really-
All right, appreciate the call. Joellen doesn't really like me, if you guys haven't noticed when she calls over the years, but that's okay. A lot of people don't like me. I don't understand why, but there are people that don't like me. I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing does incredible work. I've seen his work many times on different types of structures, and I've had so many listeners tell me off the air the great work that he has done for them. In fact, on the last cruise, we could have a subgroup of just people that have roofs from Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. We could have a whole subgroup in our cruise group with that. I was surprised how many guys. One guy, we were having a private party on the back of the ship at night, sailing somewhere out in the Atlantic Ocean. And one of the guys in our group, he says, "Hey, man, I got a new roof from Tom Laporta. That guy's awesome." Then another guy comes up, "Yeah, I've got a Tom Laporta roof too." And somebody else says, "Yeah, he came out and did a repair." And, it was kind of like, he does great work. And let me tell you, his team, I know they're roofers and all that. That's the correct title. But they're really artisans. If you look at the work that Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing and his crew do, it is incredible roof work. And calling them artisans is really an appropriate a term to use. The work is incredible. And, roofing is a big industry down in Florida. You want the best. You want a guy like Tom Laporta, who's a good MAGA guy, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. Meaning, if you just need a simple repair, he'll do it. He works on every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, with every type of roofing material there is as well, and also can handle the job of any size, whether it's one office building, one small single-family home, or a large office building, or an HOA that has over 300 units. He can handle that too. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. You can call or text. Now, I'm going to give you the website too, which is Laporta Roofing. The number at laportaroofing.com rings to the office, and you're welcome to call that number at laportaroofing.com. That's the office number. But if you want to get the owner directly, Tom Laporta himself, call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We will go to the phones shortly. Hold on. Where is I need my laptop. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to go to the phones when we get back. There's one opening on the board. All right, less than 30 seconds. We'll be back. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. 35 minutes after the hour, there's one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Vicki. I'm calling from Oklahoma.
Hey, Vicki.
Speaking of Dan, you could be right, but then again, I'm thinking Andrew Bailey has had some run-ins with these people before, and he's an attorney. I think maybe they're going to move him around to do some.
No, now you talk about speculation. We know this. We know two things. One, well, we know several things. Right? Dan Bongino was not President Trump's first pick. Judge Jeanine was. Two,
Right.
Bongino was threatening to quit a few weeks back, if you remember, and he was doing it. He was almost like very threatening towards the administration about it. He was like giving them an ultimatum. The president talked to him, and he didn't. Three, he's had this is a new position that never existed before, co-deputy director. So something's up.
Trump has been doing some really slick stuff too. So I guess it's a wait and see. But if he's looking at losing his wife, he would quit before he would lose his wife.
The wife problems, I believe, is financial. I saw him. He was making millions of dollars a month.
Yeah.
And I promise you, they're not making that kind of money now with him not doing the show. And when he had that breakdown,
I told my husband in the beginning, I said, this wife, she might be behind him now, but when that money quits coming in, she's going to be upset.
If you look at marital and he said on Fox and Friends a couple months back that him and his wife were divorced and then or separated, and then he says, well, I mean separated by distance. He was obvious he slipped, and from my experience,
I remember that, yeah.
and from my experience of knowing people that have had marital problems. I'm married.
Always about money.
Well, there's two things that cause marital problems: infidelity and money. Someone becomes gay. Okay, other than that, okay. so do you know of any? Yeah. So when someone's having marital problems and they divorce, in almost every instance, it's one of those three. Usually, infidelity or money.
I know that distance can do it too, and the money combined, and they just use the distance as an excuse to not bring up the money part. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I like Dan Bongino. Don't misunderstand me, but something's up here. Why are we?
I know you do, and you could probably be right.
If I don't like people, I'll tell you. There's a lot of people I don't like. I don't like Mark Levin. I think he sucks. And I think he's full of
He gets
himself.
on my nerves.
Yeah,
He
you
gets
know.
on my
So if
nerves.
I don't like someone,
He's
I'm the
so
first. I'll
fake,
tell
it's
you.
unreal.
Yeah, that's right. I said it. You know, exactly. So
His
I.
fake is cheap.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree that this could be, because that was the first thing I told my husband when he was picked for that, and I said, if he takes this, I said, when the money starts running low, the wife is going to get upset.
You know, and yeah,
it's gonna cause problems.
and you know, when he had a money machine going on there, and making millions of dollars a month, it was reported, and but believe me, people, he's a new money person. Believe me, when people are new money,
The wives don't care if it's just him and her, but when it comes to the kids and the kids have to suffer for it, that's when the wife
I don't know
gets
about that.
upset.
Well, you know, usually when somebody's new into money, they're also supporting a bunch of family members, and the wife likes going out to Worth Avenue in Palm Beach and buying those fancy purses that Melania likes, and you can't do that on a deputy director's salary of $100 and some thousand a year.
Right. I think more when it affects the kids, like they can't go to the private school they were going to, so on and so forth.
Yep.
But I guess we'll just have to sit back and wait and see.
Okay, take care.
But
All right, I appreciate calling. Good call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Robin, and I'm calling from Missouri.
Hey, Robin.
And, first, I just want to tell you, I love how much respect that you show for Trump and the cabinet, and it seems like other people that are Republican and MAGA and all that, they still can get negative, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But I called to say this, and this could be an infantile way of thinking of it, but could there be the reason for that position between Bondi and Pam is maybe a buffer between them? Because I had heard some stuff, I hate to say the name, the Epstein thing.
No, that's all
And
fictitious.
he had
Anybody that's talking about Epstein is just making stuff up or repeating lies somebody else made up.
I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't know if any of that between them was true.
No.
And it makes me think
No.
they needed
You know,
to
a lot.
separate
Listen,
them.
here's the thing in the media. A lot of people in the new media, they talk and do things that'll get attention. And Epstein is one of them. There's a lot of new media, these influencers, and Epstein is, you know, good for clicks and views. And like if I could do a show every day on YouTube talking about Epstein, just, you know, even though there's nothing new because it's so old, and I would have so many views and so many calls, and you know, and that's, you know, and that's why a lot of people bring that up. And there's a new phrase that one of our listeners left me a message, and they called them MAGA posers, the fake MAGA posers. There's a lot of fake MAGA posers out there, and they're not really MAGA. And they talk about this stuff all the time, and all of this. But no, there's nothing there with Epstein. Everything, it's all made up stuff you're hearing.
Okay, so I don't know why they would need the extra position then.
Well, because there's so many other positions you could give a guy like this a job, and the only one I can think of is they're pissed off at Dan because Bongino was threatening to quit a few weeks back, and he was you know, he was looking for a way out to get back to his job, which, you know, and then the other thing is he may not know how to go out and arrest people like Tom Homan does. I mean, you see Tom Homan, he's leading these agents on raids live on TV.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
You know, and that's what that's I think what people want to see. We know the indictments are coming from the Bondi grand juries. Hey, I appreciate the call. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Brian.
All right,
Take care.
Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to ask you this question. This is an important question. Are you in pain? I used to be. I used to be in so much pain till I met Dr. Appleton and took advantage of his laser away pain treatment. And he's rid me of pain 7 times. Some of the pains I had for decades. My knee pain, I was suffering with that for 30 years, maybe a little longer. And I just thought that was my life, this knee pain, especially this time of year. During the hurricane rainy season, we get those rains, and oh my goodness, it would hurt so much this time of year. And 3 years ago was the first time Dr. Appleton treated me with his laser wave pain treatment, rid me of pain, and the pain has not returned 3 years later. And by the way, the 6 times after that, the arthritis pain, my accidents, my falls, and all that he's treated me for pain for, those pains gone and have not returned either. Remember, with Dr. Appleton, there's no drugs, no shots, no injections, no surgery. The laser treatment not only is 100% painless, you don't even feel it when it's happening, and it's a very short treatment. And Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. Also, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome. Give Dr. Appleton a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. If you are 65 years of age or older and are a Medicare recipient, you want to call Chapter. Do you know millions of seniors are missing out on benefits that they're entitled to from their Medicare policy because they just don't know about them? Call Chapter. Chapter can help you with your Medicare no matter which one of the 50 states you are in. When you call the number, it's on the screen right now. It's also in the description of the video, and I'm going to give you the number in a moment. You're going to get a real person on the line, and they will be able to answer all your questions no matter what state you're located in, and they'll give you answers right quick. The average Chapter client saves over $1,100 a year. That's amazing. So call Chapter no matter what state you're in. Make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to. Make sure you're not spending too much money. And they'll take care of you. And by the way, if you're on the right plan, they'll tell you that too. Now, open enrollment will be here before you know it. Give them a call so that when open enrollment comes up, you'll skip the line and not have to wait, because open enrollment becomes a very busy time in Medicare. So call now, do a little pre-open enrollment contact as well. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. All right, give them a call. And we'll be back shortly. Let's see. Okay. In about 90 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. There's 2 openings on the board. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Just over a minute, we'll be back. Yeah, just about a minute. 1 opening on the board. The number is pinned in the live chat if you'd like to call in. Oh, we're back. I lost track of time. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Caught me there, off guard. This is Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, there's 1 opening on our board at 1-888-465-2631. If you're just joining us, what we're talking about, Pam Bondi made a very unusual announcement. She's appointed the Attorney General of Missouri to be the co-deputy director of the FBI alongside Dan Bongino. This is a new position, never existed before. And I just thought it was odd and even maybe concerning. We're talking, what's going on here? And that's what we're talking about. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Speaking from Virginia.
Hey, Virginia. What's on your mind?
Listen, do you remember that Don Bongino has been Secret Service primarily throughout his entire career?
He was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he maybe doesn't have that judicial, prosecutorial, thing about him that is needed specifically when you're dealing with these kind of cases.
So he's over his. So you're saying he's over his head?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he is. And if you notice that a lot of the folks that President Trump has put in his cabinets and his folks that he had with him, a lot of them have judicial experience.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. The Secret Service, and by the way, he was in the Secret Service during the Obama era, and what we saw in Butler, there's a lot. They're not the elite we thought they were. At least not. They're a lot of incompetence going on. Yeah, I tend to lean towards he's over his head and doesn't really know how to do the job. Yeah, that's that, and I've thought that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he was just Secret Service.
And he got offered the position by the president. He could have turned it down like Judge Jeanine did, but he didn't.
Well, I think he has heart, and he wanted things to be done. And I mean, like he said in his text that he has his things that I've seen that I probably would never,
Sure. Scary stuff.
Would never go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he hit a wall, and he just can't function somehow. So brought somebody in to give him assistance in that other side.
Well, give him assistance or take over the job. Because this guy, Andrew Bailey, he's taken on the state of New York over their lawfare. So I don't think this is a co-deputy directorship. I think this guy's being brought in to do the job that Bongino's not doing for whatever reason. That's what I think.
They're transitioning, and maybe he's trying to get him up to speed as to what they're looking at or what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And after the transition, then we just go away in the sunset somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Appreciate the call.
All
right. Take care. All right. That was Virginia. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name's Chet Goldrock. I'm from liberal Seattle.
Oh.
Fortunately.
Yes. What's up, Seattle?
I got to ask you, man. I mean,
here we go.
Are you Republican?
Yes.
But your hat, it says Trump 2028.
Correct.
Why?
Well, I want President Trump to run in 2028 and 2032 and 2036 and 2040. I want Trump to be president for life.
So you're not trolling. You're just like an authoritarian.
No, I believe that President Trump, what he is doing is so important that we need him for at least one more term to get this country back on track. I believe,
like screwing up the stock market and spiking inflation.
Stock market. You obviously aren't in the market. Anyone that's in the market, their portfolios are up.
So by this point, I've been in the market since '96. By this point in Biden's term, I would say that it was up over 5,000.
I don't know. I know what's going on now, and if you're not going to make an argument that the economy was doing well with Biden. It wasn't.
I'm not, but you know what? I feel
everyone I know is doing very well with their investments right now. Not as well as Pelosi, who has insider trading and all that going on, but everyone I know is very happy with the way the markets are going.
Well,
why do you not? But why do you not like? But tell me, listen. Why do you not like Trump? What's the real reason you don't like Trump in Seattle, Washington?
Oh, I mean, he's not a real Republican.
Really?
I'm a big.
You're a real Republican, but he's not.
Eisenhower.
What makes him not a real Republican? What makes him not a real Republican?
Well, when we had proper Republican presidents, people would, your average voter, when you would be debating someone, if I debate a liberal Democrat, I'm a supply side economist.
What are you, high? You're just babbling. Listen. I understand. I'm in Florida.
Me?
You sound high. You're making no sense.
I am high, but I'm also...
Oh, you are high. See, am I good or am I good? I said you sound high. You said, excuse me. I said you sound high, and you said you are high.
I'm a cannabis.
Yeah, okay, so you're smoking weed. I knew.
it.
Yeah, because what you're saying, you sound like you're stoned. You're saying nonsense. See, guys, I'm very good, aren't I? I picked up on that.
But I don't sound like I'm in love with dictators, though.
No, you don't. You don't know that you sound high because you're high. Hey, listen, I got to run, but don't do drugs. Remember Nancy Reagan? You say you're a real Republican. Nancy Reagan said, just say no. Just say no to drugs, real Republican. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. He'll probably call back a few times. After he eats, he's probably starving because he's high on weed. Oh, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, it's Ben from Las Vegas. How's it going?
All right, Las Vegas.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, Las Vegas?
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, I'm just looking at your live stream, and I'm trying to figure out what your hat says. I think it says Trump 2028.
Correct. Yeah, you can read. Yes.
Yeah, hey, I'm just curious. Last I checked, the United States, we only allowed presidents to run for 2 terms.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out what variety of American are you?
I'm a MAGA American.
Well, yeah, that means retarded American. But
Retarded?
I'm trying to figure out what constitutional amendment you don't like.
Well, the Constitution has been amended 27 times. One of those amendments,
Right.
One of those amendments in the 50s limited term limits to 2 terms for president. I believe that it should be amended to allow...
The 12th Amendment that also dictates that a vice president can only be eligible so long as they are eligible to be the president.
Oh my goodness.
So
did the last caller pass the bong to you in Vegas? Because I believe that the Constitution should be amended to allow President Trump to have another term, or anybody else, like Clinton and Obama could run again if they wanted.
So what separates you from the Brits prior to July 4th, 1776?
Well, there was no Constitution until 1787.
Right. So you're in favor then of King George?
No.
Of a monarchy?
No. I'm in favor of having elections and having people vote for President Trump again.
In the confines of what?
I am in favor of amending the Constitution to allow presidents to run unlimited times, as many times as they can get elected.
So a monarchy?
No, there would be elections. I'm not doing away with elections. I don't want to do away with elections. I just support Trump being...
Does North Korea have elections?
No.
They don't have elections.
If they do, they're fake.
Well, you have a Google browser right behind you. Type that in.
No.
Why?
So Kim Jong-un, because you want me to. So Kim Jong-un,
Yeah.
This is interesting. So Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, right, whose dad and granddad were the supreme leaders, he runs for election how often? And who are his opponents?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're petitioning for.
No, I'm pitching for President Trump to be able to run for election again in 2028.
Against who?
Whoever you guys want to put up.
So you're in favor then of fair and honest elections?
Yeah. Are you drunk? You're in Vegas. Are you drunk? Are you hungover from the night before?
Not yet. Oh, you wish I would.
You sound drunk, intoxicated, high, like the last caller. You don't sound sober.
No, I'm not storming the Capitol. I'm not retarded. Hey, who pays a tariff?
Other countries. Companies in other
Who
countries.
though? Okay, so you
If you
agree
go
that
look, no, there
the
has
rate
not.
is
In
going
fact,
up.
the prices have not gone up in the United States. Prices have gone
Oh,
down.
they haven't?
No, they've been going
Oh.
down. Listen, I got to run.
Oh, really?
I got to run. It's time for a break. But thanks for the call.
Oh. All right.
It's time for a commercial break. I take commercial
Okay.
breaks here. Hey, listen,
Wait, but
listen,
who
don't.
pays the tariff, though?
I
Who
told you,
specifically?
companies in other countries.
Yeah,
Hey,
but who ultimately, though?
other countries and companies in other countries. Hey,
Yeah,
listen.
yeah, yeah,
Hey,
other
listen.
countries.
Don't drink and drive. Oh my goodness. Drunks, stoners, we're doing great. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. Our toll-free number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Yep, Trump 2028. We'll be back. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Cracks me up. Hey, Barry, I'm put you on hold. Stand by. Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that into the mic. If you're on hold, stand by. There's one opening on the board at 888-465-2631. We'll back in 30 seconds. All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It's time to check in with our estate planning lawyer, Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Brian?
Good. We don't usually speak this early, so it's good to hear from you early. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Yeah, and thank you for getting me on early. So this morning I wanted to talk about, people talk about fears, and, one of the ones you always hear that the biggest fear that people have is public speaking. That's a big one.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a lot of other ones, jumping out of planes and so on. But there's another one that people have, and it is running out of money during their lifetime.
Yep.
Being broke, being in a position where they might feel like a burden on the family, having to ask friends and family for money, not being able to leave anything to their loved ones. These are all things that can happen to any of us if we don't plan properly. And the threat to us, to the situation where we could become broke, is the cost of care. And if, God forbid, any of us need care, home care, assisted living, nursing home, whether it's for you or your spouse, that could cause you to go broke, or at the very least, change the lifestyle that you're going to live the rest of your life.
Yep.
And there's a way to prevent that, and it's by doing planning, making sure that you have a long-term care plan, whether it's having long-term care insurance, which a good insurance agent can help you with, or if you don't have long-term care insurance, can't get it, can't afford it, whatever it is, then the other option is what we do. We help people qualify for Medicaid. And the thing is, of course, a lot of people jump to the conclusion that they have too much to qualify, too much income, too much in assets. And that really, for most people, is not the case. Most people can qualify. People would be surprised.
Yep.
And that's why it's a good idea to either come in for a free long-term care evaluation so we could see where you are and what you need to do, or come to one of our upcoming Medicaid seminars, and you could learn a lot there as well.
Yeah.
And that way you and your family are protected.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing, other than just the finances and taking care of yourself financially and your family, when it comes to, that long-term care at home or in a facility, a lot of times if you have your spouse or your kids or even grandkids take over that role as caretaker, people don't really want to do that. There's a little loss of dignity sometimes, sadly, with people, because there's private things that have to be taken care of, and you'd rather have somebody come into your home and do it other than your children, grandchildren, or your spouse. Give attorney Barry Siegel a call. All right, his number is toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk soon.
All right, Brian, thank you so much.
All right, take care. I'm going to go back to the phones and without doing any recapping, and there's a lot of other things I haven't even touched on yet. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, sorry, say again?
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi, this is Nate, and I'm calling from Japan.
Okay. What's up, Nate, in Japan?
Hey, I'm just an active duty service member. I'm stationed over here. I'm just calling, like the show, just wanted to see how much you knew about, or how much the importance of Trump's current tariffs against India, in that India is largely becoming a state sponsor of terrorism.
Yeah.
In an attempt to undercut Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they are actually funding the TTP, which is an Islamic State and Taliban affiliate of the Pakistani Pashtun people along the border of Afghanistan.
You're in the service stationed in Japan?
Yes.
What branch are you in? Just curious.
Navy.
Well,
Navy.
I'm sure you're a strong MAGA supporter of the Commander-in-Chief.
Yeah, but personal feeling. I'm not trying to get into supporting Trump and saying, yeah, I'm in the military, support Trump. I'm just saying what's important is what Trump is doing in terms of economic policy and pressuring India.
Yeah.
Because India right now is literally becoming a state sponsor of terrorism.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's really cracked down on India. In fact, he's cut them off from doing business with Russia.
Right, which is kind of undermining BRICS. And then what's going to happening is right now India is potentially going to cozy up to China, but all they can do really is turn into a vassal state of China. They have no actual...
I don't know. The president seems to have a pretty good relationship with their leader, and the vice president has a special relationship since he's married to an Indian American woman. So they got a lot of respect for the Trump administration in India and the Indian government. So I don't worry too much about India.
Well, I mean, I disagree. I mean, you have Modi tweeting out to Putin trying to undermine Trump's peace.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be
Modi's
successful.
tweeting out-
He's not going to be successful because India needs us. Hey, listen, appreciate the call from Japan, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. I'm not really interested in the Prime Minister of India's tweets. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Seth from Wilson, North Dakota.
Why are you singing? Why can't you just talk normally?
Because I have a stutter, and when I get nervous, I sing. Makes it easier.
Oh, really? You're like, come on. Come on.
It's true.
All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey, Bill, what's up?
Well, your thumbnail shows Russia, which was history being made yesterday. You're talking about Bongino. If I'm not mistaken, he was in the Oval Office yesterday, sitting across the Vice President and Secretary of State.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, that's good.
I don't see why you would then start getting into his personal life and his ability
Okay.
to do
How
his
long
job.
have you been listening to the show today?
Since this morning.
Since I started. Okay, so let me recap what we're talking about for people that are just tuning in, okay? There's a very strange story. The Attorney General of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, who's taken on the state of New York in their lawfare against President Trump, has been appointed by Pam Bondi to be the co-deputy director of the FBI. This is a new position that did not exist before. They don't have co-deputy directors, and something is off about it. It's weird. So I'm bringing it up. Yeah. So why is this happening?
Well, you don't know, and if you know something about Bongino and his ability to do his job,
this is what I know. I've seen him on television 2 or 3 times since he's been deputy director, losing it.
Well, I don't see any reason to question his ability when Pam Bondi.
I'm not questioning his ability. It seems to me that Pam Bondi's questioning his ability if she's appointing a co-deputy director.
If I'm not mistaken, and this is a fact that I don't even know if it's true, that 167 FBI agents were involved in Russia. I mean, there's 167 FBI agents that should be dismissed.
Yeah.
If they're involved in.
Correct.
There's a lot of work this department is doing in the FBI, and there's so much going on. We've been calling for all these investigations.
Okay. So you think they're doing so much they need 2 deputy directors?
Yes, because look at the grand juries that are going in.
Okay.
I mean, all these.
I hope you're right.
The FBI does the investigation and the arrest.
I hope you're right.
And I think it's just beefing up the FBI to get their job done.
There's other jobs that you can give somebody like this. This is a weird thing. You can give them anybody can listen. You can give anybody a title. Okay? Titles mean nothing, I don't to some people titles mean everything. So they could have given this guy any job title, and he could do whatever they needed him to do, but this is a little different. This is just strange. You don't think this, on the face of it, you don't think this is embarrassing to Bongino?
Well, here, I'll give you this, Brian. There should have been an explanation by the Attorney General as to the reason they're putting in this Attorney General from Missouri. And that leads to all this speculation that you're doing, and others may do the same thing. I understand.
I had no intention I had no intention of talking about this for more than a few minutes, and I brought it up, and every line on my board lit up with people. So people are interested in this.
But that's not what your thumbnail says.
Well, because what happens, okay, you're on my thumbnail and title on YouTube. This is what happens a lot of times, okay? And this is what happened with this. And I'm going to get to this stuff. There were some hot mic moments. I'm going to talk about what happened at the White House yesterday. There's no doubt. And there were a couple of hot mic moments that'll blow you away, which I'm going to play on the air. But this story, I saw this story this morning. It was one of the first stories I saw on the Gateway Pundit. It's also being reported by Fox News Channel, Trending Politics, and elsewhere. And I thought maybe I'll get to this and I'll let it play out a little bit today. And then on my podcast in the afternoon, I might cover it in more detail. And it just was on my mind. And I mentioned it in the beginning because it was bugging me. This is a very strange thing. When I looked up and found out there's no such thing as co-deputy director of the FBI until now, and we've seen Bongino cracking up on television multiple times under the pressure. He threatened to quit a few weeks ago, remember? He was threatening to quit his job a few weeks ago.
Oh, absolutely.
And
and it didn't look good for him.
Yeah. So,
And I agree, it does
yeah,
not look good
yeah,
for him.
he has not, he's looked nothing but bad the whole time he's had this job.
Well, then I look at it that why was he in the Oval Office yesterday during the Q&A with
I have no idea. I have no idea.
well,
Maybe
if he
you know
wasn't
what?
doing a
They
good
could,
job,
there's this possibility. The way that politics work in life, not just in government, I mean politics like in business and such. If there's no other way for me to look at this other than a demotion for Dan Bongino, okay? In the very least, at very least, he's got his share of the job, the authority. So, if not a total demotion. So, a lot of times when somebody is being slighted or demoted, there's this thing that's called promoting them or demoting them upstairs, kicking them upstairs. Maybe they brought him in there, so you're okay. You're here. You're part of the here. Look, you're in this history-making moment. You're here. Don't feel bad. You're not being demoted. You're here in the big historic meeting. It could be some of that.
well, somebody needs to ask Pam Bondi.
Yes, I agree.
Sure.
I agree.
And that'll put to the end of any speculation whether Bongino's doing a good job or they're splitting up the investigation parts from one handles this part and the other one handles the other part.
If anybody at that level, if anybody needed more help, it would be Kash Patel. You would think he and Pam Bondi would, but they have people under them that can handle these things. This is a whole new position.
Yeah. I understand that.
When he was threatening to quit,
you brought up an important point.
when Bongino was threatening to quit a few weeks ago, it was really threatening. He was saying if he basically was saying if Pam Bondi doesn't do this or that, I'm out. You don't think that pissed off Trump and Pam Bondi?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not doing a good job.
I don't know what he's doing.
That's what
I don't know what he's
anyway,
doing.
Well, anyways, I do enjoy your show. I listen to it every day, and I'm just giving you a different opinion, and I'm more optimistic.
No, that's fine. Hey, you don't think I don't mind people disagreeing with me. That's cool. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. But anyways,
all right.
I'll listen to the rest of the show.
Okay.
Like always.
Okay. Take care. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I do have to get to the other stories about yesterday and everything. Don't worry. I will. We will take our first break of the second hour. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Back after this. All right, guys. Okay, we'll be back in just over a minute, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to get into some of the other stories, though. One minute, we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. I'm going to take another call or two, and then I'm going to get into the other stories of the day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's us again.
One call per day. You call again, we'll never speak again. All right, it's one call per day, man. All right? All right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, it's old Ben from Vegas again.
No, one call per day. One call per day. You got your one call. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris. Hold on one second. Let me get rid of these weirdos. All right, yeah, go ahead, Chris.
No, I agree. I mean, for all the reasons we already know of, obviously, even from Bongino himself, needing help. So they got it for him, co-deputy director, because you need the kind of help he needs. You need, that authoritative, needing to get things done. And so, I mean, even from us, of course, how often do we say, hey, it's been 3 months. When is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? So
Exactly.
I don't think there's too much to see there. But you do have to throw in there that hey, he did threaten Lee. So and they got they can't they can't skip any beats, as we know. There's a lot on the table. So yeah, I mean I don't think there's a whole lot to read into, but. Those top three things there, yeah. They have
my belief, after I saw Bongino crack up on Fox News, slipping about his marriage and all, okay, he wants out, I believe, or at least he did then. And after that is when he threatened to leave. And I think it involves his millions of dollars he was making from his podcast and radio show. But without any arrest, he's going to have a hard time returning to that. Because, I know we all like Bongino, but if we don't see some action, he's going to lose a lot of that cred, that street cred he's built up, is what I'm saying. He needs to put the cuffs on someone and do a perp walk. He can do that. He's got a badge. He's got a gun and a badge and the authority. He can arrest. He has federal arrest powers.
100%. So so we'll see moving forward. But
he has more authority than Tom Homan, and Tom Homan's out there with border czar is there's no office of border czar, but Tom Homan's out there taking charge of federal agents, senior federal agents, in multiple agencies and local law enforcement on TV all the time, because he's a cop.
Oh, absolutely, and he and it shows. He's doing a great job. He doesn't back down from any of these would-be nagging reporters. Yeah, I mean it's nice, but Bongino needed the help, and the way it
well, wait a minute, but he is the first deputy director that's needed help. This is not. This is a new position, co-deputy director. The FBI's been through all kinds of things. 9/11. Many other things. Oklahoma City, I've never heard of one of them needing a co-deputy director before.
Well, definitely. I mean, but look at look what's been happening. The FBI has been involved in lawfare with their top people, but traditionally these people have been in place as sort of civil service workers or permanent staff, and you didn't really have that before.
Okay.
Well, they may have had it, but who can you trust in the FBI after
That's
all
right.
that's gone on?
Well, listen,
You know
Chris,
what I mean?
I want to get into some other things, but I appreciate the call. Now, if you want to comment on that, you're certainly welcome. But I want to talk about yesterday's events, and I am, after the bottom of the hour, I'm going to get to the hot mic moments, or a couple of them, and we'll share them, and I got a lot to cover. I had no intention on this taking up almost half the show today. None. I thought I was just going to mention it, thought I'd get a call or two, sometimes, you know, the caller from Sanford, you know, when you're hosting a live show and you take live calls, well, you know, you got to be in control of the show and the topics and the subject and whatever. Sometimes there's issues out there and the audience is coming at you like a freight train, and you don't want to try to stop a freight train. And I think that the reaction from the audience over this story shows that there's public interest in it. So, but let me get into the events yesterday. After the bottom of the hour break, I will get into the hot mic moments, okay, and play them for you on the program. I got to tell you this. Zelensky was different yesterday, wasn't he? That was not the normal Zelensky we're used to seeing. Yesterday, he did wear a suit, but it was a weird suit, and it kind, you know what it looked like to me? It looked like a black leisure suit from the 70s, like Lee Majors would wear. Didn't it kind of look like a leisure suit kind of thing? But he wore a suit, which is certainly a sign of respect. Yesterday, watching Zelensky yesterday was the first time that I've seen Zelensky where I believed him and that he wants peace and he wants the war to end. And he's open to making deals and concessions to Putin. I believe that. I saw the guy yesterday. That was not the Zelensky we've normally seen. And I don't think it's, you know, that they got that new poll out of Ukraine. 69% of Ukrainians want the war to end. I don't think that's why. I think the death in his own country, of his own people, is just hit the country hard. And probably, there's probably very few people in Ukraine that don't know someone who's lost someone in this war, multiple people. And he deals with it directly as the president. So yesterday was the first day that I've ever seen Zelensky where I believed him that he wants peace and wants the war to end. Am I the only one who feels that way, or did you see that too? And that he's willing to make some concessions to Putin. That's how I sensed it all day long yesterday with him. Very different Zelensky. Now, with that being said, what President Trump did yesterday to my knowledge, has never happened before. That was a beautiful thing the president did yesterday. It was absolutely amazing and historic, every second of it. And that was having these European leaders, having the top NATO leaders coming to the White House, not for a dinner, but for an actual event. Usually the presidents go to them. They go to the NATO headquarters in Brussels or one of their host countries, and they have meetings over there. President Trump was holding court. We got a problem. There's a major European war going on. The president had a summit in Alaska on Friday. Don't these people in the press look like idiots now after what happened yesterday? The president had a summit with the Russian president in Alaska, and then here we are on Monday. These people are all running their own countries. They dropped everything they were doing, came over here to the White House. And NATO got together, led by the president, and Zelensky, of course, was there. And we got a problem. How can we end this war? Putin has given his proposal, and that was amazing and historic yesterday. President Trump was even phoning Putin during the events yesterday, updating him. So, I mean, this is fantastic. Now, when they both have a summit, I don't think they can't have it in Russia. They can't have it in Ukraine. It probably should be at the White House when Putin and Zelensky meet with President Trump. It should be, you know, for their own safety. If I were Zelensky, I wouldn't go to Russia for negotiations. And if I were Putin, I wouldn't come to Ukraine for negotiations. Would you? So where should it be? I think it should be at the White House. But the president will work that out and it'll be fine. But what happened yesterday was beyond Zelensky, Ukraine, and Putin. Yesterday, the United States was put back in its proper position as the leader of not just the free world, as the leading nation in the world. And the President of the United States was reestablished as the leader of the planet, the leader of the free world. the supreme leader of the free world, the President of the United States. You know, they always said when I was growing up that the President of the United States is the leader of the free world. Well, that's kind of been lost with all this globalism, with that pervert Bill Clinton and all these creeps we've had before Trump and between Trump's terms. But the United States is now the center of the universe, and we are dictating, as we should, the direction of the planet. And if you're an American, I don't see how you could feel anything other than American pride and love for our great president. These leaders from major countries, Italy, France, the UK, and others, came to the White House to kiss the ring of our great MAGA king, President Trump, the President of the United States. That's a big deal, what happened yesterday. I've never seen anything like that happen before. That was one of the most historic events at the White House, maybe in any of our lifetimes. Now, I'm late for the bottom of the hour break. I'll take the break. We'll get back to this, and I'll play the hot mic moments as well. Don't go anywhere. All right, we'll get back to the sound bites and calls. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in about a minute. Less than a minute now. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. So it was a great historic meeting, very historic. The United States put back in our proper place as leader of the planet yesterday, which is great. We are the superpower. There's other countries that have power, but we are the superpower. But there were a couple of interesting hot mic moments, and I want to share them with you. This is one. And all these leaders sitting around the table with the president, and when they were done talking, I noticed that, and I was watching this live, the cameras were going, but the mics were still hot. Okay, now that's the end of the event with the leaders at the table, but the mics are still on. They're still hot, and the video's still going. And I was watching this live. You may have caught it too. One of the leaders said, "You go through this every day?" Did you hear the Italian leader? She says, "I never want to talk to my press," and she says he loves it. He loves the press. And then there was another hot mic moment, and this is the hostess of Meet the Press, and she's talking to Macron about another hot mic moment with the president. Listen. Okay, yeah, so President Trump was caught on a hot mic saying that. And of course, Kristen Welker here from NBC and everything else, the liberal media, they want to make something out of it. Like, oh, well, Russia is true. Look, he's doing stuff for Trump. They're working together. You know, these people are sick. But let's hear what Macron says. Exactly. Not if you're in the liberal media. All right, so he says Putin wants to do this for him. Kristen Welker, she doesn't like that at all. She's very upset about that. We got another one here. Zelensky caught on a hot mic. Okay, so that's Zelensky, and what Zelensky is admitting there is that they need Trump there. They need Trump there. That they can't do this without Trump at their back. And I agree with that. If they don't have Trump there, they're going to be in some trouble. All right, so, but I got to tell you, overall, that that White House, which I'll call it another summit. I think that was the second summit in just a couple of days. We've never seen anything like it. And you know, for the United States to be back at the center of power in the world, which we had given up for so long, doesn't that make you feel good? Now, if you're on hold, stand by. There's a lot of big news, and I want to share this. This is absolutely amazing. The D.C. Police Union has dropped some very good information about the crime stats in Washington, D.C. since the federal takeover. And you got to understand, the federal takeover, they've taken over parts of the city, but they're still moving in and taking up the entire city. They moved into some of the big areas. But already, listen to this, robberies in the District of Columbia are already down 46%. Assaults with deadly weapons down 6%. Carjackings in the District of Columbia are down 83%. By the way, this is just in the last 7 days. Carjackings down 83%. Car thefts down 21%. Violent crime is down 22%. Property crime's down 6%, and overall crime is down 8%. And again, the feds have just taken over one part of the city, mostly where the tourists are. They haven't gotten into the neighborhoods yet, but they are. This is amazing. And some of these are very violent. Carjacking's down 83%. Holy smokes. Now, so far as people complaining about black people being harassed, the only people I hear complaining are white liberals. I'm not seeing black people in particular, other than that mayor a couple days ago. She doesn't count. I'm not seeing black residents upset about this. Are you? No. Not at all. Now, one thing I want to mention before we go to break, so I don't forget, and if you're on hold, stand by. I will go to the calls after the break. At the Zelensky press conference in the Oval Office yesterday, Brian Glenn, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, he asked such a great question of President Trump. You may have seen this. He said, do you think the press wants the war to continue? President Trump pretty much said yes, right? And that's true. The media, they don't want this war to end because they don't want Trump to get credit for it. These people that are dying and everything on both sides, to them, it's a worthy sacrifice that they're not making for the cause of having a bad news cycle for President Trump, where maybe they can get him down another point or two from his over 50% that he's at right now. Now, I want to tell you about the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. This is amazing. You can get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Pretty good deal, huh? Slomin's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call, toll-free, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. If you're on hold, hang in there. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in just over a minute, guys. And I want to remind you all that if you are a Medicare recipient, call Chapter. They can help you with your Medicare no matter which state you're in. They cover all 50 states. The number's in the description of the video. It's on your screen. I'm going to give it to you as well. The average Chapter client saves over $1,100 a year on their Medicare. Give them a call. You're going to get a real person on the phone, no matter what state you're in, and they're going to be able to answer all your questions with Medicare. Make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to and that you're not spending money you don't have to be spending, all right? 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Give Chapter a call, all right? You'll be glad you did, and I appreciate you for calling them. All right, we'll be back in about 20 seconds or so. Those of you that have the green wall behind me, if you go to my other stream, you get the benefits of the green screen. You get to see the videos, the articles, and everything that I play, hear the sound bites and everything. Here, you get more, with the green screen behind me, it's more of a behind-the-scenes look. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, you. So listen, when this fool's term is over, are you going to leave or are you going to pull another January 6th? Because he isn't.
All right, please, give me a break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. Dean from Mega Morgan County.
Hey, Dean. What's up?
Hey, man, I'm loving all these low T tampon Timmy males that are so triggered calling you this morning.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. These lip turds would rather see Russia and Ukraine keep battling than Trump win. It's just hilarious that these guys are just so degenerate.
I know, isn't it? I call them incels. Yeah. Incels. I learned that from the TV show Criminal Minds. Incels, it's an abbreviation for involuntarily celibate. I kind of like that. I like that one. Yeah. All right. MAGA.
Yeah, I think you're on point with Bongino. He's got 6 months or less. He's out of there.
I mean, you're in his hometown in Martin County.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to stick it out, dude. He's losing too much money, and that lifestyle is pretty addictive.
But you know what, though? If he doesn't have some arrest or some big accomplishment, he's going to have a hard time returning to that. Because people are, I mean, it looks to me like he hyped himself up a little bit. Maybe a lot.
Yeah, you're right. Well, have a good day. Thank you.
All right, take care. You know, people do that. You know, I've been doing this so long. You know, some of you guys remember when I was a kid, right? You know, so you know all about me. I couldn't pad or pad my resume up if I wanted to, because there's so many people that are in the audience that have grown up with me. There's been an amazing thing that has happened in Hollywood. Now, we were talking the last couple weeks, the #1 box office actress, the #1 A-list actress for now, we know how that goes though, right? They're there for a while. Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's MAGA, right? We talked about that quite a bit. So she's the top female lead actress right now, which is pretty amazing. So we got the #1 A-list actress who's MAGA. Now we have the #1 A-list actor, Chris Pratt. I know you might say Tom Cruise is bigger. I don't know. Chris Pratt, who, by the way, isn't he the son-in-law of Arnold Schwarzenegger? Let me share this with you. This is Chris Pratt, from Guardians of the Galaxy and pretty much every movie that ever comes out. I'm not a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, but he did make a very good science fiction movie for Amazon a year or two ago about an alien invasion. I forgot the name of it. Anybody see it? It was very good. But Chris Pratt is the top male actor right now. And here he is on with Bill Maher. This isn't Bill Maher's HBO show. This is the show that he does from home, drinking and getting high, Bill Maher. But this is Chris Pratt on Bill Maher this week. He's talking about Bobby Kennedy Jr., who he's friends with. Wow, that's amazing. So President Trump has done something that is, I thought, impossible. We have the number one actor in Hollywood and the number one actress in Hollywood today are behind him and are MAGA. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought? You know, Ronald Reagan, who came from Hollywood, he didn't have the top actors on his side. He had the top actors from yesterday on his side, Frank Sinatra and Jimmy Stewart, but they were old and retired by the time Ronald Reagan was in office, for the most part. The top actors of the 1980s were not Republican, even though President Reagan came from Hollywood. This is amazing. And it is something that I never would have imagined. I don't think even President Trump could have imagined that this would be happening. That's how popular he is. So those of you out there, I've got some news for you. Those of you out there that aren't on the Trump train, those of you out there that hate Trump, don't support Trump, try to undermine him, that badmouth him, that bring up all these stupid things all the time about him that aren't true, you are in a cult. An anti-Trump, Trump derangement suffering cult. Cults are small groups. The big group is not a cult. We're the mainstream. MAGA is mainstream. This is a MAGA country we're in right now. It's MAGA America that you're in. And if you're not with Trump, you are in a cult. And it's clear as the day is long. When you have the top actor, Chris Pratt, and the top actress, Sydney Sweeney, MAGA, behind President Trump, not apologizing for it, bragging about it, that's amazing. That tells you where the country is. And the country is with Donald Trump. And I got some other news for you. All this great work, crime down over 80% in D.C. because the feds are there because of Trump. Chicago is going to be next. Make no mistake about it. And you look at those who are vocally opposed to what's going on in D.C., it's not the local residents, it's politicians, it's elected officials, white liberals, not the local people who now don't have to fear that they're going to be the victim of a home invasion. Now, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You guys know I've lost so much weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Eating foods I would normally eat, not taking any prescription medications, no shots. Can you imagine? Oh, my goodness. You know, and of course, no exercise. And that's why I haven't gained any of the weight back, because I didn't have massive lifestyle changes to lose the weight. People do crazy things to lose weight, and then if they lose weight, they gain it back because they've done these weird changes that they can't maintain. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I didn't have all those massive changes. So now that I'm in the maintain phase, it's easy. It's really effortless. Do what I did. Go see them. Lose the weight. By the way, no matter where you're located, they can help you. Doesn't matter where you are in the United States. We've had listeners from all over America call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. Now, Jasmine Crockett, with her fake ghetto talk, okay, She grew up going to very exclusive. Benny Johnson showed the school she went to. Holy smoke. She went to a nicer school than the Trump kids. She went to some exclusive country school that I've only seen like in movies. I didn't know people really went to school like that. Well, Steve went to Riverdale Country School. She went to a school like Steve Kane went to the same high school as President Kennedy. Not at the same time. I think President Kennedy was a year or two ahead of Steve. But Jasmine Crockett's school is like that. The school where Steve Kane and President Kennedy went to high school. And this act that she does, pretending to be ghetto. Listen, she's talking about the redistricting in Texas. Jasmine Crockett is a congresswoman without a district. The new district map, her district's gone. It's been wiped out. Now okay, so the hood. She can't say clan. She calls them hood. Mm. Okay, now those two clips are from the same video. In the first clip, she says it's racist to redraw district lines. But in California, where they just did it, it's not racist. It's the right thing to do. She's saying both things. But I'll tell you this. I do believe that Texas did this redistricting to get rid of her district. I do think they did, that she was targeted. It's not because she's black. She happens to be black. But that's just a coincidence. The reason that they did it was because she's such a poison person who's causing racial division for a little bit of personal gain, Jasmine Crockett. And if they did it because of Jasmine Crockett, they'll never admit it. But I give them a high five for that. We don't need another race pimp out there. Jesse Jackson is out of business, and Al Sharpton, well, he's a washed up has-been, and she's trying to be the new race pimp. Now, this one here, I want to play this clip quick. This is amazing. This is Mayor Adams walking down the streets of New York having a conversation, and then he drops something about Zohan that I did not know, and I don't think most people do know this about Zohan. Listen to this. Okay, now I understand the audio is not the best on that, but I'm sorry. What he says is it's so important that the low fidelity, I got to play it. Mayor Adams just dropped something that I did not know. I don't think many people knew this at all. If anyone, Zohan wants to legalize prostitution in New York. Yeah, good question, Mayor. Yeah, exactly. Mamdani, Zohan is in favor of legalizing prostitution in the city of New York. This is the first time I heard this. This should be the front page in all the New York papers. I didn't see it in the New York Post this morning as the lead. I don't remember what the lead was. I'll check. But that was the first time I heard that. Have you guys heard that before? 2 hours down, 1 to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Steve Kane will be joining us. Your calls are also welcome. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. That's crazy, isn't it? It's insane. That's right. Hey, hold on one sec. Okay. Are you there, Steve?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got 2 minutes.
Okay, I think you just threw me a lifeline.
What, prostitution?
The prostitution thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, my goodness. All right. 90 seconds. All right. All right, we got 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yep. Oh, my goodness.
My love.
All right, hold on, guys. All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Joining us is Steve Kane. Hey, Steve.
Good morning.
Hey, you know, sometimes there's stories, I do all my show prep before 6, but I save some stories that I think might be of interest to you, and I ended the last hour with a story that I thought was right down your alley, and when I connected with you, you acknowledged that, this prostitution story out of New York.
Well, I mean, of all the things in the world that Zolan, or whatever the hell his name is,
Zohan.
of all the things he believes in, that's the thing that bothers me least is legalized prostitution.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's...
You think that's a big thing? That
Yes.
A lot of people are going to say, oh, no, I'm not
Yes.
going to... I was going to vote for him, but now I'm not going to vote for him because
Yes.
he's in favor of legalizing
Yes.
prostitution?
Yes. Listen. What
are you thinking?
Mom Donnie, Zohan, a lot of his, by the way, I didn't make a whole show or segment. It was a mention because it's a buried thing. But Zohan is a liberal, and he has a backing of mainly, when you talk about New Yorkers, Gen Z and millennial women that are Democrats. And these, you know, the feminazis that Rush used to talk about, right?
The feminazis are the ones that are in favor of legalizing prostitution.
No, they're not.
Our bodies are
These,
cells, remember that?
Steve, no, they're not. These feminists today, they think all heterosexual sex is a sexual assault, okay? And the idea that Mom Donnie supports the legalization of prostitution in the city of New York when it comes to the mayor's debate, which is going to be live and televised, that's going to be one of those moments. Now,
I'm shocked.
It's going to be one of those things that'll turn his supporters, some of his supporters, against him.
You think a woman should not have the right to take money from a guy if
Oh my goodness!
Mutual to consenting
Oh my goodness! I wasn't expecting it to go this way. Yeah, I'm opposed to legalized prostitution, Steve. Aren't you?
No.
Oh boy. Oh.
I don't know. Well, I'm recovering from a shock.
Steve, first of all, one of the biggest things that President Trump did when he shut down the border was in human sex trafficking across the border. And
Well, I'm not being in favor of prostitution is not the same thing.
Steve,
as being in favor of sex trafficking.
Most every the idea of the, what do they call it, the happy hooker or pretty woman with Julia Roberts, those are fantasies. The prostitutes are mostly sex trafficked and sexually abused in today's world. Yeah, so I'm strongly opposed to it.
But it's their bodies. If they want to sell them, why not?
Well, first of all, they're not making the choice to sell their. Okay, I'll tell you. There's this new thing. It's been around for a couple years. I'm not sure if Steve doesn't use the internet, so you may not. Are you familiar with OnlyFans?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Well, we want to keep it that way because OnlyFans. Okay, what it is. It's, like I have a YouTube channel and I'm on YouTube all the time, talking about the news, issues, politics like we're doing now.
Right.
OnlyFans is like YouTube, but it's women that are having sex on camera from their homes. And people pay, it's like a pay-per-view, they pay to watch. And and you're hearing horrific stories about women, the longer they're having sex online, the more money they're making, right, with the OnlyFans. And there are multiple stories of women who are being sex trafficked by sometimes their husbands, boyfriends, and pimps.
You're changing the subject.
It's the same subject as prostitution.
Prostitution is one thing. Sex trafficking is another. Sex trafficking usually involves an illegal thing like involving minors and things like that.
Steve, this is not the Mayflower. This is not the Mayflower Madam fantasy. 99.99999% of prostitutes are being sex trafficked today because the internet has made it an industry that President Trump has been shutting down, whether it's OnlyFans or illegals.
The internet?
Well, we should shut down OnlyFans and this prostitution. President Trump shut down in his first term the biggest websites that were advertising prostitution around the world. He did it in his first term. No, I guess you don't think it's a big deal that Bongino wants to legalize it because you're in favor of it being legalized. I did not realize that.
Well, I mean, it's not a burning issue with me, but it's
you think you know someone? I'm in shock.
That's the least of it.
I'm in shock. I know. I didn't think you were in favor of legalized prostitution.
Well, don't be in shock. Go to the phones. You're going to find out the audience agrees.
No,
Just get.
Okay, let me give out the number. Let me give out the number because.
Flash poll.
Okay, Steve wants you and the audience to call up and share your opinion on whether or not prostitution should be legalized. Steve is under the impression that the majority of you people in this audience believe that prostitution should be legalized. That's insane. That's crazy. Are you sure, Steve? Is that your position?
Go to the phones. It's a different. I'm not promoting. It's not a major issue with me, but I'm saying I wouldn't be in favor of enforcing it. I mean, what's the big thing? If the lady
because they're slaves, Steve. They're slaves.
Why can't they do it?
They're slaves. They're sex slaves. They're sex slaves. Like these OnlyFans girls I'm telling you about. Most of them are sex slaves. They're sex slaves.
By the way, that actress, what's her name?
I don't know. Oh, Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. I had no idea she was an actress. What movies has she been in?
A bunch that I don't watch. Rom-coms, romantic comedies. I don't. I did see her in one movie recently with Julianne Moore, which Julianne Moore was very good in it. She played her mother. Remember her from Boogie Nights? But I didn't think.
I mean, I don't think of her as. I haven't been thinking of her as an actress.
Yeah, she's the top actress in Hollywood. She makes all those romantic comedies. She's the number one A-list actor in Hollywood right now. Biggest box office draw. But no, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find pro-prostitution supporters in our audience. But then again, maybe Liberal Al will call in. All right, let's...
Oh, yeah, right.
Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on.
You seem to be sort of a hypocrite with things, don't you? This is Jay from Jersey.
Who's a hypocrite?
You're a hypocrite.
Who's a hypocrite?
You're a hypocrite.
About what?
That's a vote for me.
Because you have a problem. You have a problem with people who want to be with the prostitute. Now, I'm not saying I want to be with a prostitute.
Oh, I know. You're commenting for you're commenting for a friend, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You're not going to want me to. You don't want me to finish. That's why.
No, you're on the air. Go. This is great.
You have a problem. You're a hypocrite because the president married a prostitute, and you know that.
First off, not only is that not true, excuse me, not only is that not true, Melania was suing somebody for saying that the other day, and maybe I'll pass her. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There you go, Steve. Yeah, there's your.
Doing well for a while.
Yeah, there's your ally. But he, of course, he's in favor of prostitution. He doesn't want a prostitute. He's commenting for a friend, I think is what he said. Oh my goodness. No. This is, Steve, Zohan, while this may not be the biggest issue with him, what he's really about is an Islamic takeover of the city of New York, as well as a socialist takeover, okay? A communist takeover. So
prostitution doesn't really fit in with militant Islam.
Well, a lot of things, he's also out there getting the gay vote behind him. That doesn't fit in with Islam either. But I think the fact prostitution is bad news, and I think everyone needs to know that Zohan, as the mayor told us, is in favor of legalizing it. Especially, Steve, could you imagine what would New York City look like if prostitution was legal? Oh my goodness, what would it look like? It'd be hookers nonstop, all over, everywhere. I mean, is that what you want New York City to be?
Think there are hookers in New York?
I'm sure there are, but they're not advertising legally on the streets like they would be if it was legal. Listen, when people do things that are illegal all the time and are in illegal businesses, but when you legalize, there's a lot of people who don't use prostitutes because they don't want to get arrested. If you legalize it, you increase the business. It's like the drugs, the legalizing of marijuana.
Well, there you go.
I'm opposed to that too.
If you're worried about something, which would you rather see legal? Drugs or
well, drugs. No. Which drugs? Marijuana or prostitution? I'd rather marijuana be legal than prostitution be legal.
I don't know that I agree with that. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. You sure this is where you want the show to go? All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed out. All right, well, you know what? It's time for a break anyway, Steve. So we'll take our break. You know what? Let's talk about your neuropathy. Because, if you hear, you hear all this stuff about influencers all the time. Steve and I have been influencers before the name even was created, right? Right? Because we've been endorsing products for many, many years and services. And if you hear a commercial that either is me or Steve, it is something that either Steve uses, I use, or we both use, right? We don't talk about a restaurant where we don't have a meal. And a lot of times what happens is we have a need, and that need leads to us finding a sponsor. And in this instance, it was neuropathy, because you had neuropathy so bad, we had two things coming up. We had a personal appearance, and the one where they called the cops on us for being MAGA.
I remember it well.
And we had a cruise coming up a couple months down the road, and you told me, I don't know if I can go to this appearance, and I don't know how I'm going to go on the cruise because I can't get out of bed with this neuropathy, the dizziness, the pain, the falling down. Your doctor said there's no treatment. You went to a neurologist. They said there's no treatment. And you and I, I found them because I went on a hunt because I didn't want to go to this appearance alone. I wanted you to go on the cruise. And I found Lighthouse Medical, and I called you. You called. You made an appointment, and they treated you for your neuropathy. Now, this was 3 years ago, and I remember, Steve, you went either on a Thursday or a Friday. You had an appointment in the morning, and then I didn't hear from you. And because it was your first appointment, I didn't hear from you on the phone, and I was expecting to hear from you after your appointment, and I called you on Saturday morning. So I can't remember if your first appointment was on a Thursday or a Friday, but it was definitely a Thursday or a Friday, because I remember I called you on Saturday because I hadn't heard from you, and I said, how'd it go? And you told me on Saturday you were already feeling better, that your symptoms were already fading away on the Saturday after your first treatment, which was either on a Thursday or a Friday. Isn't that something? You know?
It's miraculous.
And of course, they rid you of all your neuropathy suffering and symptoms, and here we are 3 days later, it hasn't returned. It's amazing. You know, when you have neuropathy, it's so god-awful painful, and all the problems are so bad, you're not thinking about 3 years down the road. You want immediate relief in 3 seconds, right? Because you can't live, because you're suffering. So Lighthouse Medical, they have a treatment for neuropathy, a treatment that works, and what we found is a treatment that lasts, because here we are 3 years later and it hasn't returned. Give them a call. And remember, they can help you no matter where you are in the United States. They understand that if you have neuropathy, it's difficult for you to travel, even if you're local. So you can call Lighthouse Medical with telemed and do it right over the phone, and they'll help you, okay? Here's the number. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, so you could take advantage of the no-charge consultation exclusively to our listeners. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. I want to put you on hold for a minute, Steve. Hold on. What do you guys think about Steve's position on prostitution? I mean, you're welcome to call in about it. He's asking you to. I'm a little surprised, to tell you the truth. All right, we'll be back in about a minute.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to move to some other stuff, and unless people call in about this, because there's a lot going on. All right. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane is here. You want to take some more calls before we move on, Steve?
Yes, well, let's see where the public stands on this.
Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, good morning.
Hey.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, B and Broward.
Yes. How do you? How's it going?
So much to go through. Remember, hey, that's like Trump used to say, beautiful. That was a beautiful situation in that room. I wish I was in there with a nice shiny shoes. In that, the electricity in that room. What would have been really kind of funny is that Trump held Putin over, and Putin just popped out of some door, and boom, the deal had to have been done at that moment.
Well,
that would have been,
you know, that meeting yesterday at the White House is something that's never happened before. There's never been a meeting at that level, I don't think, in the history of the White House. You know, President Trump could have ended the Second World War like that, you know, before it even began. And I thought it was...
Well, doesn't it depend on how it ends up?
It's in...
I mean,
things...
the deal wasn't closed yesterday.
Oh, Steve,
if he can
no.
do it, he's a genius, but...
I watched every second of what happened yesterday. And
right.
As an example, Zelensky... by the way, IB, I agree with you. Thanks for the call.
No deal, right?
No.
You know there's no deal.
No. No.
You think there's a deal?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
They're working out the final touches, but during the it was reported during the a couple things. One, there's never been a meeting like this with the President of the United States, with the European NATO leaders of these major countries like France and Italy and others, with a crisis in Europe dealing with this like this. NATO has never been as united as they are now with what happened yesterday. Zelensky...
I think that's true.
Zelensky, I was talking about this before you joined. Yesterday was the first time I believe Zelensky wanted the war to end, and that he is open to concessions and making a deal with Putin. He was just a totally different person yesterday than I've ever seen him, Zelensky. And during the meeting, on at least one occasion, may have happened more than once, but on at least one occasion, while they were talking in the private meeting with the leaders, the President Trump went and called Putin to touch base with him about what they were talking about. So there was obviously some type of negotiation going on with Putin that has not been made public during the meeting yesterday.
That's not the same as having a deal.
Well, there's no deal till they sign on the line that's dotted, all right? But no,
there's no deal until they have a meeting of the mind.
I got a feeling. I don't know. Are you okay today? Because you want prostitution legal in New York.
I understand what the confusion is. It's fairly simple.
It seems to me
they don't have a deal.
Yeah, they do.
They're on the verge of it. If they can pull it off, you'll live in history forever. Well, that's going to happen no matter what. It
just seems like you don't want it to end. That you don't want the deal to be made.
That's not true. Of course, I want it made.
Then you're blacking out what happened yesterday. He's got all he.
I think you've been blocking out. Well, all right. Well, what concessions since you think they have a deal? Tell me what concessions.
The two major things. The two major. There was a big one that Putin made. They're negotiating what kind of military presence is going to be on the new border between Russia and Ukraine. That's what
so what's the deal?
Hasn't been announced yet, Steve.
Well, because they don't have it, right?
No, because they're fine-tuning it. And I heard yesterday President Trump would talk throughout the day about what type of military... The debate is what type of military presence is going to be on the new border, and is it going to be NATO or United States troops? It'll probably be us, because they don't want NATO in there, But that's... They do have a deal. They're just finalizing it. That's why the president was calling Putin during the meeting, because some things came up and he wanted to run it by Putin. And then he goes back and told them what Putin said. No, there's a deal. What I just told you. They're negotiating.
It's the same argument we had over the weekend.
No.
I'm all for positive thinking, and I'm certainly rooting, as any American would, or any decent person. I'm certainly
Where'd you watch this yesterday? Were you watching?
I'm working something out, but let me ask you this: what has Putin conceded?
He's conceded allowing, well, not allowing. I mean, we could just do it, but he's conceding to allowing and approving of a foreign military presence on his border with Ukraine.
He's conceding to allowing.
Yeah, there's going to be some type. There's going to be some.
I wasn't aware that had been agreed on.
Yes, that's what they were talking about yesterday. There's going to be some type. I don't know what the right word will be, but there's going to be some type of DMZ type situation like we have between North and South Korea. It's going to be a similar thing.
They reach an agreement, right?
All right, Steve. I mean, I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to have a conversation with you today. I mean,
this is better than the prostitution.
All right, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Steve and Brian. Mark Huber.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, good morning. Quick point, this is a great ruse, I think. Also, this meeting with these heads of state and NATO. Not only are they trying to find a road to peace, I believe, which it's evident with what Trump's trying to do, but I think they're also discussing what the next move is if Putin doesn't go along with the program.
He's a part of the program. He's a part of the program.
Okay, great. Okay.
Let me ask you a simple question. Do they have a deal or not?
I think they're working it out. I think it's going to end up with a deal, yes. I think we're moving in the right direction.
That wasn't the question. I didn't ask if they were going to end up with a deal. I mean, they very well could. I'm not saying that they couldn't end up with a deal. I'm saying they don't have one right. When you say
of course
they
do.
End up with it, that the question itself implies.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
You're correct, Steve. Steve, they don't have a deal right now. Yes, Steve is correct. In real time, there is no deal right this moment.
And we're all hoping it'll go the right way.
No, you're both wrong. You're both wrong. They have a deal and they're working out the final details of it. Listen, we got to run for a break, but I appreciate the call. I'm going to put you and everybody on hold. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. Now, guys, if you are 65 years of age or older and a Medicare recipient or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. Chapter, when you call Chapter, no matter which one of the 50 states you're in, they can help you with your Medicare. When you call the number, you're going to get a real person who can answer all your questions and concerns about your policy and make sure that you're getting the benefits that you are entitled to and that you're not spending too much money. The average Chapter client saves over $1,100 a year on their Medicare. That means a lot of them save a lot more. If the policy you have is the right one, they'll tell you. There's over 24,000 Medicare policies, over 24,000. And because Chapter's a nationwide company in all 50 states, they have access to all of them. So they'll make sure you got the right one. I'm going to give you the number. The number's in the description of the video as well, 805-754-3033. The help is completely free. There's no catches, no gimmicks, no strings attached. Costs you nothing. The whole process. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Give them a call. No matter what state you're in, they can help you with your Medicare. Be back in less than 2 minutes. We'll take some more calls when we get back. All right, Steve, we got about 90 seconds.
I'm here.
All right.
I want to open.
Okay. 30 seconds. Ten. All right, we're back.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you
Strange day.
aware? I don't know what you know. Your whole source is the internet, and I assume that the internet has all the latest news. Are you aware that last night, after everybody was leaving, are you aware that Putin launched a major attack against
Yes.
Ukraine?
Yes, I saw that.
You saw that? That's part of the deal.
No, that's not part of the deal. The
Well,
deal.
then, so they don't have a deal.
They have a
If
verbal.
they still are launching missiles, how
Okay.
can you say they have a deal?
All right. They have a verbal agreement on a deal that they're still finalizing.
That Putin's already violated.
No, there's no ceasefire. There's no ceasefire agreement.
There's no deal.
Okay. You want to take some calls?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'm getting frustrated today.
I don't want to spoil your day, but reality is reality.
I'm not spoiling my day. It's just a strange conversation we're having.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, it's strange because you're saying that they have a deal.
Okay.
And they're still launching bombs.
All right, caller, you're on the air, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is John from Wisconsin.
Hey, John.
Hey, Jonathan, what's up?
I'm referring. I guess I'm commenting to the comment of Steve the Pimp.
Yes.
I mean, you got no morals. We can't have legalized prostitution. That's wrong on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
It helps out the drug people. They get hooked on drugs. It's unbelievable. I really can't believe you're talking.
Yeah, and just let me add to what you're saying, caller. I was telling Steve about the OnlyFans. I've seen some stories where these OnlyFans girls are being forced to work 18 to 20 hours a day doing sex acts on OnlyFans by their husbands and boyfriends.
Well, I don't approve of that. I mean, there are abuses and everything.
Do you want your wife or your daughter to be caught up in that?
No, but I think they should have a choice of what they want to do. I don't think the government should tell them what to do with their bodies.
Oh, my gosh.
You have a choice whether you want to murder someone. Is that okay then? Because you wanted to.
You really wanted to compare that?
Well,
you really want to compare that?
You're spreading disease. You're spreading everything.
See, this is what Steve doesn't understand, Wisconsin.
I just
about 90. Listen, over 90% of prostitution is rape. The women are being forced into it. Over 90% of it's rape.
All right, thank you for your call, sir. I think Brian's happy talking about the prostitution thing now.
No, you
Since we expose the fact that his basic premise that there's a deal doesn't exist.
No, there is a verbal agreement on a deal that they're negotiating on.
But that's not.
Okay, all right. They don't have a signed deal yet, Steve. Yes, that's correct. All right, let's take.
Okay, then now you're back in reality.
Okay, all right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is John from Coconut Creek. How are you guys doing this morning?
All right, John.
John, what's
I was
up?
just calling about Steve's comments on the prostitution, and you said something that the most liberal thing I've ever heard you say, which was it's their body, it's their choice, let them do it. So I guess you could use the same argument for abortion. That's crazy.
No, because that is somebody else's body.
I can't believe.
Hold on. Do you understand the difference between the two issues?
My body, my choice. Excuse me?
No. Abortion is somebody else's body. It's the baby's body. Didn't they teach you that in school? Didn't they teach you that in school that abortion involves a baby?
Yes, they do, and that's.
If you're confused about that, that's why you don't understand what I'm saying.
The arguments that the liberal use for abortion is that it's their body, their choice, which is
The caller.
And
See what Steve doesn't accept. Steve has this fantasy of the happy hooker, Julia Roberts, pretty woman prostitute, and he doesn't accept that these women are sex slaves in almost every instance.
Well, they're not all sex slaves.
In almost every instance, they are. Yes, I would say
Most
easily.
of them are.
Yeah, over 90% are in sexual servitude. That's why I said it's probably higher than 90%. Okay, it's all rape. They're being raped all day.
exactly.
All right.
No, Steve's watching too much MSNBC.
Or MS Now.
Oh, by the way, I'm
Yes.
so glad you mentioned that. Hold on one second, Brian.
Yes.
Did anything happen to
Yeah.
what's her name? There was the MSNBC lady,
Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow.
They're all going to be fired. They're all being set up to be fired. They're going to dissolve. By the way, caller.
I always look forward to her show. It's on Monday nights, and last night the whole station was off the air.
Was the Lesbian Olympics yesterday in New York? I'm not sure. Maybe she was at that. I don't know.
I'm being serious.
No,
Did you read anything about her?
No, she just was off, I guess. I didn't see anything in the news about it. She might have been
They
pouting.
only work one day a week. To take that day off is not promising.
She might have been pouting over the change at MSNBC that's going on.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah. Oh, well, let me hold on. Let me answer all these phones. Our phones are ringing with it. There's been a merger. It's no longer going to be a part of NBC. So it's NBC Universal. There's been a merger. NBC will have no connection at the end of the year to MSNBC. So they're changing it to MS Now, and it's going to be separate from NBC. So there's probably a lot of panic over there over that, and maybe that's why she wasn't.
Rachel Maddow is unknown at this point.
They haven't fired anyone. They've said there's no changes, but she's got a lot of she freaks out a lot. She could have taken the day off to pout. And they really set them up because it's being called MS Now is going to be the new name. NOW, MS Now. And of course the acronym, everybody's talking about it, that now no one watches is what everyone's saying it stands for. No one watches.
No one's watching.
No one's watching, yeah. So no, it was I know. It's not going very well. But I'll tell you this. The phones are ringing off the hook. I mean, the jury of public opinion is not on your side. You want to talk to more callers?
Go ahead.
All right.
Take some calls.
All right, let's go. You're on your own. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dave from Broward, Fort Lauderdale.
Hey. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Yeah, I couldn't call you earlier because I was at work. Would you please, I beg you to back up 1 second to Dan Bongino? I have a question
Yeah.
that I haven't heard anybody ask. Okay, thanks. One, why was he, I can't find an answer, I can't find anybody talking about this, why was he not made head of the Secret Service? Because he offered to do that. That's a great fit.
Well, the answer for that is, let me answer that first, then go to the second one. The head of the Secret Service, whose name I can't remember, is the Secret Service man that saved President Trump's life in Butler, his number one guy. So, so President Trump trusts him with his life and his family's life. And so he made him the Secret Service director. I get that. But yeah, it's a good.
That may change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It remains to be seen.
This new thing with Bongino is not good for Bongino. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. It's not good what just happened.
Well, I agree with you 100%, and I'll tell you why. He has no admin experience. It's a totally different deal to be admin or to be a grunt on the ground. Now, he's a grunt on the ground, and he's really frustrated. He almost quit on July 11th because he feels his hands are tied. He doesn't really have hiring and firing. He has to go through too many people, Justice Department, etc., and he's just feeling lost and frustrated. And I'm hoping that they're going to put him over as head of the Secret
service.
I doubt it. I doubt that.
Trump trusts this guy. I get that.
I doubt that.
You know, things change, and Trump changes his mind all the time. That's it.
This thing that just happened, I would take that as a demotion for Bongino. I don't care what anyone says. It's a demotion. He's been demoted by Pam Bondi. There's no doubt.
Well, if he's not, it may be a demotion, but he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about promotion, demotion. He wants to serve his country in the best way possible.
Maybe, yeah.
I would think he would be quick. He might be even asking, please, get me out of this.
Well, see, the problem is, we don't get any communication from the Justice Department on what they're doing. For something like this, they should have had a press conference. They should have had a press conference. Yeah, they really should have a press conference.
They got to. Why? Yep. Come on, Pam. And the other thing, once we're talking about AGs, why do you think Jean Pirro wasn't made AG of the country?
They offered. It was reported over the weekend that Trump offered Judge Jeanine to be deputy director of the FBI, and she turned it down. That was reported over the weekend.
Why wasn't she made AG in the United States?
That's a good question.
That's it for her.
That's a good question.
I always, when I listened to Judge Jeanine for years, and I kept saying to myself over and over and over again, please.
Well, I'll tell you, if Pam Bondi doesn't arrest someone soon, she might end up being the Attorney General, Judge Jeanine. Well, and if you notice at that press conference last week with Trump, he had Cash there, Judge Jeanine, Hegseth, and Pam Bondi about the DC takeover. Judge Jeanine jumped in and took over from Pam Bondi in that press conference. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, I did. I did. Jeanine, Judge Jeanine.
Oh, we lost it. We lost the connection with the caller. Steve, we got to take our last break for the Gold Report. Okay, I'll put you on hold. Don't lose your thought. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. Hey there, we got about 1 minute. Hold on. All right, you there, Steve?
Yes.
We got about 1 minute, a little less. Now, the story on Bongino is very strange.
The whole thing is strange.
Did you hear me talking about it earlier?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I missed that.
Well, let's see. We may not have time. They created a new position that they didn't have before, co-deputy director of the FBI, and Pam Bondi made the Attorney General of Missouri the co-deputy director. All right, hold on. I got a conference in, William. Hold on. All right, stand by, William. Have about 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right, it is Gold Report time. From the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca, we check in with William Youngerman at this time each morning with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. How are the metals looking on this Tuesday, William Youngerman?
Tuesday, they're looking very good. All four of the metals are up. Yesterday, we saw the metals close mixed. Gold down $2.90, closing at $3,331.10, while silver was up 2 cents at $37.95 the ounce. Platinum lost $7 at $1,329, and palladium gained $1 at $1,113 on the close. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $33.25 on the low to $33.45 on the high. And right now the gold's at $33.35. That's up $3.90. Silver up 15 cents right now at $38.10. Platinum up $13 at $1,342. And palladium up $17 at $1,130. So the market's still trading in these summer ranges, and very, very quiet actually yesterday.
Yeah, you know, with these numbers, well over 3,000 an ounce for gold, and silver's doing so well, you must have people for the very first time coming in to sell things that they have made of the metals, because you don't just sell the metals, you buy them. People must have their minds blown when you give them a price on what they're bringing in.
They really do. We buy a lot of jewelry that people don't want anymore, out of fashion jewelry, broken jewelry, old watches, etc. And they're just absolutely amazed at how much they're getting for these little pieces of metal that are sitting in their drawers, not doing anything, and so they're quite pleased with that. The other side of that is that the new buyers are coming in, and although they're amazed at how high gold is, they're taking advantage of the fact that they believe it's the only real money left in the world.
Yeah.
And at least putting some of it into their portfolios.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to silver, what are some things that people have that are made of silver that they bring in and turn into money?
We see a lot of people bringing in their old flatware sets that the children don't want, and they don't want to polish anymore. We see a lot of tea sets that were handed down through the years, but these silver items, they bring very large prices.
Yeah, they do, and don't clean any of that stuff, like the sterling silver and all that stuff. Just bring it in. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, give William Meggerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010, or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Meggerman, we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take
Have a
care.
great day.
All right. I wanted to recap the Bongino thing real quick, because there was a reference. I want people to know what we're talking about.
All right, then I have a question for you. Go ahead.
Pam Bondi announced yesterday they have appointed the Attorney General of Missouri, who has taken, even though he's the Attorney General of Missouri, he has taken these lawfare people to court in New York against their lawfare of President Trump, so he's real tough. She's appointed him co-deputy director of the FBI. And I'd never heard of such a thing before, so I looked it up. It's a new position. There's never been a co-deputy director of the FBI before. They have created this new position, and Dan Bongino is now the co-deputy director of the FBI with this new guy. And I can only take that as a demotion. I don't care what any spin is, and there's something going on. I don't know what it is. They didn't tell us, but they don't want to something happen.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah.
I want to know why you think that after they reached this wonderful agreement yesterday, why Putin made a choice to launch weapons, missiles against Ukraine after they agreed to what you call a peace.
Because it's not finalized yet. Because it's not finalized yet.
Who's keeping it from being finalized?
None of them have come to a final. Like there's a lot of things. Like, for example, one of the things they were talking about yesterday, part of the area where the Russians occupy now, there's a big nuclear reactor there, and Zelensky would like to have his nuclear reactor back for power. It's the biggest reactor in Europe or something. So there's all kinds of tiny things like this that are still being negotiated.
So in the meantime, as a sign of goodwill, he's launching
Yes,
missiles at us?
I guess so. Not us. We're not at Ukraine. All right, let's take this. You want to take more calls, or?
Yes.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Dolores from Miami.
Hey, Dolores.
Okay, two things. I gotta be on Steve's side on this one.
Which one?
One, there's a lot of women that like to have a lot of sex and do a lot of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then there's the swinging lifestyle that there's a lot of people that love that part of that lifestyle. So I got to be on Steve with this one. Prostitution should be legalized.
Really? Come on. Who said that?
I'm just saying.
Obviously, you do. You're into some kind of dirty sex by your attitude. You're kind of like a. See, you're like you're Steve's kind of woman. If he wasn't married, you seem kind of like a kinky, dirty woman.
I probably am.
See, so
like
you're
like
so basically what you are is a perverted woman.
Okay, if that's what you want to call it.
No denial, right? Yeah, of course.
Ma'am, let me explain to Brian. I understand what you're saying.
I'm sure.
She's a little kinky. That's all. No big thing.
And she likes to talk about it openly.
But that's not to say. But I do agree with you, Brian. There are a lot of women who are trafficked and put in positions that they are not.
Listen, here's the thing, okay? And you know this as a nobody. We don't know who you are. So how old are you?
Right now, I'm in my early 60s.
You're in your 60s. Okay, so you're a dirty old lady. Okay, you know that obviously you are. You're of that generation that grew up. That 60s, 70s generation that grew up with all that free love and all that hippie perverted stuff. Okay, you're at the tail end of that generation, but you are. And Steve's a part of that generation, and that's why you guys are perverts.
What do you mean perverted sex? Perverted is in the eye of the
60s, 70s era. But even as a 60, and I'm sure you're a nice lady, would you consider yourself good looking?
Yes, I am.
Okay, but you know that even at the age of 60-something years old, you can have sex anytime you want. And as a kinky, dirty old lady, you can do that. So you don't have to have legalized prostitution for perverts like you to go out and have sex. A woman of any age, no matter what she looks like, no matter...
Jeez, Brian, you're not sounding very enlightened today.
Well, women, if you're...
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm a Catholic girl. I grew up a very good Catholic girl.
Oh,
I started late in life.
Started doing what? What do you mean you started late in life doing what? Being a pervert?
Being a pervert.
Making love, Brian.
No, she said she's a pervert. All right.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it doesn't involve.
But you're not a prostitute. You're not a prostitute, are you?
No.
Okay.
What is your name, ma'am?
Oh yeah. You want her number too, Steve? Oh my goodness.
Ma'am, what is your name?
Lowly.
My name is Dolores.
Dolores. Yes.
Dolores. Oh, that's a nice name.
Yeah. See, you guys are connecting. Oh my goodness. What are you bringing Dateless and Desperate back, Steve? It sounds like, but you're not as perverted as you are, the lady. I'm talking to not you, Steve. I'm talking to the lady on the line. You're a confessed pervert and dirty old lady. You've told me this in this conversation. You're still not a prostitute, and she owned up to it. She said, "Yeah, I am," but you're not a hooker. You're not a prostitute, are you?
No, and I don't have an OnlyFans page, even though that sounds pretty good and make a lot of money, but I don't do that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But that's your perversions are different than prostitution.
She gives it away.
Some people don't have skills.
She gives it away.
Some women don't have any other skills.
What other than to have sex?
Yeah, that's it. That's all they can do.
Come on, you can't work at Target.
Not some people. Not some people. I mean, it's really sad to say, but yes, not some people. That's all the skills.
That's all. The only skill they have is sex. Oh my goodness.
Building their body. Yeah.
Okay, but you understand that most prostitutes are sex slaves. You agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so why do you want to legalize sex slavery?
Because that's all they can do.
That's all they can do.
That's all they can do. Okay, and at least if you legalize it, they'll be doing it because they want to or need to versus being made to.
Oh my goodness. All right, Dolores. Is that really your name, Dolores?
I understand what you're saying. Don't pay
I'm sure you do, Steve. All right, take care. Take care, Dolores. Oh my goodness. Before we take any more calls, let's talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I was telling you guys the other day, go to my Instagram, look at my most recent Instagram photo, which was from a couple days ago, and then go back 6 months and look at the difference in my face. You'll see it. I've got my chin back. My face has definition. I got my neck back. My face was round, you know, and it is no more because I lost all that weight. I've lost many inches off my waist. I'm feeling better. I'm looking great. And the most common thing people tell me, people do tell me, oh, wow, you have lost a lot of weight. But I also, what I hear right after that is, you look so much younger, which I wasn't even counting on that. I knew I'd look thinner, but it's taken years off of my appearance too, which is amazing. You can do the same thing. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. No matter where you are in the United States, they can help you. And by the way, my results are typical. And if you want to lose less weight than if you want to lose 20 pounds, or you want to lose 420 pounds, or anywhere in between, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you. 561-247-6300, 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, you want to take some more calls, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's Emmy Jo calling from Tampa.
Hey, what's up?
I was originally calling in about the Bongino thing, but I was going to speak in your favor about the prostitution thing real quick. I don't have much to say on it, but I agree with you on that point, because if you think there's any way that anything government is going to just open the door and let you do something freely, then you're mistaken. The reason why they want to legalize that, I feel like it's the same with the marijuana thing. They want to, quote unquote, legalize it so that they can have complete control over it. They know that.
Yep.
I think both of those things for them, for the Democrats at least, I think that it would bring out some of those degenerate non-voter people.
And with all due respect, our last caller, Dolores, she was a degenerate. You heard her. She was giggling and she was getting turned on during the conversation. That's why I ended it. It was uncomfortable.
Well, I think Steve was too. He might need a cold shower after this.
Nah. What do you think, Steve?
I think you're both being very judgmental.
Oh my goodness. No denials.
We're just teasing you. We're just teasing you, Steve. But not to be frank, but you are the demographic client.
It's that 60s generation. The 60s generation are perverts.
Well,
like Bill Clinton.
It's another way for the government to siphon money out of our pockets, because
That's right.
they know that the older rich people like Steve are the only ones that are going to be hiring the prostitutes.
The ladies of the night. Well, listen, we're out of time for the day, but we ended on a great call. Thanks so much.
Sure. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, take care. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Those of you that didn't make it on the air, I'm sorry we're out of time, but if you hang on, you'll be first in line tomorrow morning at 6. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. All right, we are clear. Hey, guys, listen, thanks for joining. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And those of you that are watching, please do me the favor of liking the video and sharing the program on your social media, if you don't mind. It helps grow the show, the community, and everything else. And if you guys could help spread the word of the program by liking the video, helps a lot. And sharing on your socials, that'd be spectacular. All right, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you next time.